How about a tattoo of the Three Stooges peering into your asshole? Or a serpent coming out? Or a nice tattoo of Madonna with her hand up your ass? Here's a good one for right next to your asshole. No gerbils. Or, gerbils welcome. Depends on what puts a smile on your face. Here would be a great tattoo for right in the middle of your forehead. I have colored ink in my skin. Or, your message here, 50 cents. How about this, right in the middle of your forehead? Yeah, it's a tattoo, you miserable prick, right in the middle of my forehead. If you don't like it, suck my dick. This will keep you from having to deal with that bothersome job market. And here's a solution to an age-old tattoo problem. If your girlfriend's name, say Susie, is tattooed on your arm and you break up with her, don't have the tattoo removed. Just have the tattoo reworked so that it says, "Fuck Susie." By the way, you don't actually have to do all these things. They're just suggestions. Think them over first. Sit down, have 6 or 7 vodkas, and give them a few seconds' thought. Besides, you want to know something? Tattoos are passé. They're yesterday's thing. I'm looking for the next big thing in body decoration, and I think I might have it. You know, everyone's skin has imperfections, right? It's unavoidable. Pock marks, wrinkles, bullet holes, scars, blotches, stab wounds, cysts, warts, needle holes, acne pits, and enlarged pores. I think people should see these imperfections and disfigurements as positive things. Flaws and defects can actually be forms of decoration. Take moles, God's punctuation marks. Moles are great, and they can be useful if you want a really interesting look. The only problem is they're usually randomly placed. They don't represent anything. I think plastic surgeons should offer a new service rearranging people's moles. Think of your moles as fashion accessories. God, look at all the moles that guy has. Yes, and aren't they nicely arranged? There are lots of things you can do with moles. Make the double helix, do a happy Hitler face, spell out the name of your bowling team on your back. And how about moles with Velcro, so you could change your look every day? Here's something novel. Choose a good-sized mole on your arm and tattoo little legs sticking out of the sides. People will constantly be trying to shoo the bug off your arm. It's great for picking up girls. Next, body piercing. Now, the piercing movement is off to a good start, and I like the idea behind it, self-esteem through self-mutilation. I've always said, when in doubt, punch a hole in yourself. That part is fine, but I think the piercing people are missing a good bet. Vital organs. I mean, skin is one thing. That's easy. But how about getting your lungs or your kidneys pierced? Why not some lovely diamond studs all over the surface of your liver? Or a couple of nice 18-karat gold rings hanging from your thyroid gland? But you know, stuff like this might not be dangerous enough for today's happening people. What's really going to be great is when the ozone layer is completely gone and everyone has melanomas. Then you'll start to see fashion skin cancer. Bet you it happens. Probably start in Malibu. People will use their skin cancers to form little designs. Since it's Malibu, a lot of them will do their zodiac sign. Of course, if your sign is Cancer, you're really in good shape. I believe skin cancer will eventually become part of every American's fashion arsenal. That's a lovely growth, Bambi. 20 millimeters and right between your eyes. God, I'm so jealous. Before I leave this subject, I have 2 more ideas for the truly avant-garde. How about living, small, live mammals medically grafted onto your skin? Huh? Wouldn't you like to have a prairie dog living in the middle of your chest, sharing your blood supply? How about an adult male Norwegian rat sewn onto the top of your head, keeping an eye on everything? I think we also might want to take a page from Africa's book and get into deliberate scarring. Not ritual scars that form coherent designs, random scarring. Let a bunch of drunks with swords inflict hundreds of small, deep cuts on your skin. Or have a friend throw boiling grease all over you, and then sit back and see what develops. I don't believe the body decorating trend has reached its peak yet, and as it does, I shall try to be at the forefront, always continuing to point America toward the hot new look. One morning recently, there was something I couldn't remember. I sort of knew what it was related to, but I couldn't quite bring it to mind. Seemed like the letter M was involved. And then, suddenly, it came to me. I remembered it. That was in the morning. Then later that afternoon, even though I was able to recall my experience that morning of not being able to remember something, I could no longer remember what the thing was, what it was related to, or what letter of the alphabet had been involved. And what's strange to me is that that morning, the first time I couldn't remember it, the thing did eventually come back to me. But later that afternoon, in spite of this earlier success, I drew a complete blank. I still don't know what it was. And the nice thing is that a month from now, I'll have no memory of the incident whatsoever. Unless, of course, something reminds me of it. As you're listening to this, I'll bet you have your stuff with you. Or nearby. I'll bet anything. In your pockets. Guys have stuff in their pockets. Women have stuff in their purses. Or some women have pockets and some guys have purses. That's okay. So all different ways of carrying your stuff. Then there's all the stuff you have in your car. You got stuff in the trunk, a lot of different stuff. Spare tire, jack, tools, old blanket, extra pair of sneakers, just in case you wind up barefoot on the highway some night. And you've got other stuff in your car, in the glove box, stuff you might need in a hurry, flashlight, map, sunglasses, automatic weapon. You know, just in case you wind up barefoot on the highway some night. So stuff is important. You gotta take care of your stuff. You gotta have a place for your stuff. Everybody's gotta have a place for their stuff. That's what life is all about. Trying to find a place for your stuff. That's all your house is. A place to keep your stuff. If you didn't have so much stuff, you wouldn't need a house. You could just walk around all the time. A house is just a pile of stuff with a cover on it. You can see that when you're taking off in an airplane. You look down, you see all the little piles of stuff. Everybody's got his own little pile of stuff. And they lock it up. That's right. When you leave your house, you got to lock it up. Wouldn't want somebody to come by and take some of your stuff, 'cause they always take the good stuff. They don't bother with that crap you're saving. Ain't nobody interested in your fourth-grade arithmetic papers, National Geographics, commemorative plates, your prize collection of Navajo underwear. They're not interested. They just want the good stuff. The shiny stuff, the electronic stuff. So when you get right down to it, your house is nothing more than a place to keep your stuff, while you go out and get more stuff. 'Cause that's what this country's all about, trying to get more stuff. Stuff you don't want, stuff you don't need, stuff that's poorly made, stuff that's overpriced, even stuff you can't afford. Gotta keep on getting more stuff. Otherwise, someone else might wind up with more stuff. Can't let that happen. Gotta have the most stuff. So you keep getting more and more stuff and putting it in different places. In the closets, in the attic, in the basement, in the garage. And there might even be some stuff you left at your parents' house. Baseball cards, comic books, photographs, souvenirs. Actually, your parents threw that stuff out a long time ago. But now you got a house full of stuff. And even though you might like your house, you gotta move. Gotta get a bigger house. Why? Too much stuff. And that means you got to move all your stuff, or maybe put some of your stuff in storage. Storage. Imagine that. There's a whole industry based on keeping an eye on other people's stuff. Or maybe you could sell some of your stuff, have a yard sale, have a garage sale. Some people drive around all weekend just looking for garage sales. They don't have enough of their own stuff. They want to buy other people's stuff. Or you could take your stuff to the swap meet, the flea market, the rummage sale, or the auction. A lot of ways to get rid of your stuff. You can even give your stuff away. Salvation Army and Goodwill will actually come to your house and pick up your stuff and give it to people who don't have much stuff. It's part of what the economists call the redistribution of stuff. Okay, Enough about your stuff. Let's talk about other people's stuff. Do you ever notice when you visit someone else's house, you never quite feel at home? You know why? No room for your stuff. Somebody else's stuff is all over the place. And what crummy stuff it is. God, where did they get this stuff? And you know how sometimes when you're visiting someone, you unexpectedly have to stay overnight? Gets real late, and you decide to stay over. So they put you in a bedroom they don't use too often, 'cause Grandma died in it 11 years ago, and they haven't moved any of her stuff, not even the vaporizer. Or whatever room they put you in. There's usually a dresser or a nightstand, and there's never any room on it for your stuff. Someone else's shit is on the dresser. Have you noticed that their stuff is shit and your shit is stuff? Get this shit off of here so I can put my stuff down.